From the moment Iris stepped toward the small-town boutique, she felt something was off. The security guard, Marty, stood outside like a barrier instead of a helper. Before she could even understand what was happening, he demanded her bag, something he wasn't asking of the other shoppers walking in freely. Iris tried to reason with him, pointing at others carrying bags inside, but Marty's tone sharpened. His eyes weren't evaluating risk, they were evaluating her. And suddenly, Iris knew, this wasn't about policy. It was about prejudice. She handed over the bag just to avoid a scene, but the humiliation had already cracked her calm. Still, she walked inside, trying to focus on clothes, but Marty shadowed her every movement. His presence was a silent accusation. When Iris entered the changing room, he followed, crossing a line no employee had the right to cross. She warned him she was about to undress, but he insisted on staying. At that moment, Iris realized this wasn't incompetence. It was targeted harassment, and she refused to stay silent about it. Iris demanded the manager, hoping someone in authority would restore sanity. But the moment Bridget Golden walked in, Iris recognized the same dismissive arrogance in her eyes. Iris explained everything: the forced bag surrender, the invasion of privacy, the blatant discrimination. Bridget listened, expressionless, then delivered a reply that chilled the room. So what's the problem? Instead of protecting customers, she protected her employee. Iris realized this wasn't one person acting out, it was a culture. They cornered her, closed the store, and demanded she undress again, this time under the excuse of policy. When Iris refused, the threat escalated: police involvement, accusations of attempted theft, and a complete disregard for her rights. She could feel the air tightening around her like a trap they'd set many times before. Iris stood her ground, not because she wasn't afraid, but because she understood that giving in would mean letting them rewrite the truth. And she refused to let her dignity be their casualty. Officer Pierce entered with confidence that bordered on entitlement. Before hearing a single detail, he assumed Iris was guilty. The store staff fed him lies, and he swallowed them eagerly, never questioning the absurdity of their claims. Iris tried explaining the truth, her rights, the lack of evidence, the humiliation, but Pierce dismissed every word. When he ordered her to undress for him, the room seemed to shrink. His voice carried the false authority of someone who believed he could not be challenged. The threat of taking her to the station wasn't about justice, it was about power. Iris felt trapped between prejudice and the uniform that should have protected her. Still, she stood firm, demanding fairness. Pierce retaliated by escalating the situation, twisting her refusal into resisting arrest. Iris knew the danger: once labeled resistant, a person's voice becomes disposable. But she also knew she had done nothing wrong. So even while fear crawled through her, she stood tall, refusing to let their abuse break her spirit. Forced into submission under threats, Iris finally stepped into the fitting room with Officer Pierce watching like a predator awaiting confirmation. She endured their commands, spinning, turning, standing nearly exposed, all while maintaining the dignity they desperately tried to strip away. When they found nothing, the officer's pride faltered, but instead of admitting fault, the staff planted a stolen item in her purse. As Iris protested, the lies grew louder, and Pierce pretended to be impartial while reinforcing their accusations. It was a coordinated effort, almost rehearsed, designed to break her spirit. The humiliation wasn't enough, they needed her punished for daring to push back. Even as they tried to handcuff her, Iris kept demanding justice, refusing to let their narrative replace the truth. Her courage was not the absence of fear, it was the refusal to surrender her identity to their corruption. She felt alone, but not defeated. Something deep inside told her the truth would not stay hidden forever. Just as they prepared to drag her away, Iris asked for one thing: her phone. They allowed it, thinking it meaningless. But the moment she answered the call, the room fell silent. The voice on the other end wasn't a friend or family member, it was the mayor's office. Iris Hudson wasn't an ordinary customer, she was the district attorney. The officer froze. Suddenly the power dynamic flipped. The sheriff, overhearing the situation through speakerphone, ordered Pierce to release her immediately and warned him that any further action would be a criminal offense. The staff went pale. Their arrogance evaporated. The lies they built with such confidence collapsed instantly, replaced by fear of consequences they never expected. Iris didn't need to shout or threaten, the truth itself had become her shield. The moment she stepped out of the handcuffs, she stood taller, not because of her title, but because justice had finally stepped into the room. With the room silent and the power shift complete, Iris delivered a message they would carry for the rest of their lives. She didn't scream or insult them, she spoke about responsibility. She reminded them that law isn't a tool for intimidation but a shield for the innocent. She told them that children, their children, would learn from their actions, and the world becomes dangerous when corruption is treated as normal. Bridget trembled, Marty avoided eye contact, and Officer Pierce seemed smaller than his uniform. Iris didn't want revenge, she wanted accountability. She wanted them to understand the weight of what they had done, not to her position, but to her humanity. As she took back her bag and walked out, the store felt colder, emptier, stripped of its false authority. Iris left with dignity intact, and with a silent promise to ensure they'd face the consequences lawfully. Justice wasn't loud that day, but it was undeniable.